Welcome back to another video. This one has a special place in my heart. This is my own build, the OG Corsa, where it all began. So now it's owned by my son. This is the 3-litre V6 wide arch Corsa B. Before I get into the history of this car and what it means to me and where we're up to with it type of thing, let's talk about specifications and let's talk about what the car particularly is. It's a 2000 Corsa B. It has a full wide arch BAT Motorsport Corsa B Rally body kit. It composes of the 4 arches, the side skirts, the spoiler, front and back bumper. It looks so wide, but it is actually only 2 inches wider either side. We've then got obviously the smooth boot. Obviously that's the company that made the kit. Smooth boot, smooth back bumper. It comes with 18-inch Raceline RL7 wheels, which are actually off a Escort Cosworth. That's why the ET number, basically the offset, is so wide to suit the body kit. Dymex wing mirrors, which are electric and heated. Smooth scuttle panel, full carbon bonnet. Obviously the bumper comes with a kit, twin headlights, and obviously the original factory spoiler with the kind of like the ducktail spoiler on the rear. It has rear discs and it has front V6 calipers as well. Obviously the obligatory back in the day, the Max Power era, it had to have the alloy fuel card. So the interior had a full retrim. This actually came out of, if anyone remembers, there was a company that originally, in fact, painted this car called Midas Styling, and they built a bright orange Corsa B. And this was the interior out of it. For some reason, he had it Alcantara, grey Alcantara and black leather. So I bought the full interior as he broke the car, which came with everything. All the seats, all the door cards, even the roof lining. So the roof lining has neon lights in there, so obviously, so it shows when we was at a show we could turn the light on. Matching steering wheel. It had an inbuilt TV system with DVD player. We've also opened this with a Pioneer disc changer. with obviously the Pioneer Edge unit. And if anyone knows this Edge unit will know this was fortunes back in the day. This was the early sat-nav system. It was about £1,500 that Edge unit, because it was full satellite navigation. It was the best money could buy. So then looking at the rear, this is what I added on. Obviously, the engine's a 3-litre V6. We'll get round to that in a second. But it also had the nitrous kit on. But when I had the rear done, I had all this recessed so it held the nitrous canister. And obviously what was a good thing about this the cage in this car was obviously a full aluminium cage, but it meant I could still have passengers in the rear, because when I got this car in 2000, my son, who now owns this car, was, I think he would be 1 year old, possibly 2. So I needed a space where me and his mum could sit, and obviously he could get in the back. And my screensaver on my phone for many, many years was my son asleep with his head on the nitrous canister. So now let's open the bonnet and let's have a look what the heartbeat of this car is. So here is the engine which we installed. We did so many engine conversions. It started off as a 1.6, then it went to a 2-litre, which kind of got me the bug thanks to Lisa and Lawrence. Then it came with the 2.5 V6, and then I went to the 3-litre V6. Also installed with the F28 6-speed gearbox. Back in the day, this was a super rare conversion, to the point of, to my memory, there was only 2 others ever done. So it wasn't as if you could just ring someone up, get some advice on how to fit it. You had to learn yourself, which is what me and a friend did, Chris Mounty. We sat in his garage for weeks on end, figuring out how to mount this massive engine in this car. Why is it so difficult? So engine mounts were not available. You had to make the engine mounts, but the pain in the backside job was always, it runs a twin bank exhaust manifold off each of the V's. Front V would hit the front cross member. I don't know if you can see where it's just been adjusted to clear. And then the rear exhaust manifold would come out and hit the steering rack. So that's why there was never a lot of these done in the beginning. It was easier to put a 2-litre in than it was the V6. But I wanted to be completely different with, at the time where I'd put the body kit on, I'd put the interior in, we were doing everything to make it a show vehicle to like the next level. I wanted the biggest engine I could physically fit. So we had to basically learn on the job, and we did. To say now, this was built to this specification in 2004. It's still looking fantastic today, and the engine still runs as good as it did back then. Some little things to point out, which people don't see on this car, are, if you look at the carbon bonnet, all the black edges have been feathered black. I was driving down a road, and the wind had got under the bonnet and ripped out the rear mounting points on the bonnet, so the bonnet ripped off at the rear, damaging each of the corners. So if you look at the actual feature of this car, you will see the corner slightly missing on the bonnet. So what I did was I had the body shop fill it, shape it, and then airbrush all the edges so you couldn't see where there was any issues. These wheels were off an Escort Cosworth. So what we had to do was we had to rebore the sensors and then press inserts in to change the PCD of the wheels so they would fit up. Race line had gone, basically I think they'd gone belly up and you couldn't get them no more, so I had to make do with what I could get hold of, and the only ones I could find at the time were 18-inch, I think be 8-inch wide Escort Cosworth rally wheels, so I made them fit. This is off a Clio V6. Back in the day, it was a brand new car, so no one really had the badge. And again, what is interesting is that just some little pieces of rust we've got to sort out this year to get it back on the show. But to be fair, that boot was done when the original combat kit was on. And when the combat kit was on, the rust had started to come through at that point. So that's been there 15 years, if not longer. This car, for me, brings back so many memories, and even now I love the thing, and there's not a thing I would change on this car at all. So here's a couple of the magazines that it featured in, and what is really funny about explaining the story is this is November 04 and this is November 04. So what happened was, Revs had offered me front cover. Told Vauxhall said they wouldn't offer me front cover until they'd seen the pictures. So I just literally went, no problem. They were putting me on front cover. Revs magazine came out. Total Vauxhall panicked because they didn't want the front cover car to match Revs and ended up having to pull this car to the front cover at short notice. A black car on the front cover of a magazine does not sell magazines. Hence them wanting to put little white stickers down the side to try and break up the lines. As for the UK's fastest Corsa, I never ever said that. He got me in a lot of trouble back then. So this feature was the first feature they ever did in a photo studio, and it is the biggest feature Total Vauxhall ever did. The second biggest feature, which is also 10 pages, is my twin engine. I'm trying to see if you can see the bonnet on this one, or was it repaired? There you go. So if you look just there, you can see the bonnet was damaged, hence me having to have it repaired. But as you can see, in 2004, this was everywhere. It was at every show. It was in Max Power 100, Top 100. We've all got older. Everyone's still kind of modifying, and I'm trying to get everyone back out who still has stupid cars like this in the garage. If anyone does remember this car from back in the day, will always remember I always said this car will go into storage and I will give this to my son on his 18th birthday. And I stood behind that, and I stored this for many years. And when my lad turned 18, he ended up with the keys, and unfortunately only just now at the early 20s has he been able to get some insurance to be able to use it. So it's nice that something I built in the past I've handed over to my boy, and me and my son, who's over there, can enjoy these cars. I've got the twin, he's got the V6. We can go and spend some good time together, because this is a journey for everyone with the cars. We'll sign this one off. There's going to be so much more videos coming of driving, and we're going to have my son review it from what his memories were for back in the day. It's going to start coming a lot more to the channel. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all on the next video.